Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his wife has been having an affair with her director. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. My wife Meg has always been a bit of a theater nerd. She did theater club throughout high school and college. She's talented, but not talented enough to profit from this hobby. She's currently involved in a local adult theater club that puts on monthly performances. Meg does not participate in every single show because she doesn't always have the free time. But if there is a performance she's interested in, she'll find the time. This is the case right now as the club is performing The Taming of the Shrew. Meg loves this play and all of its modern-day adaptations, so of course she had to participate. I admit I think it's a bit childish for her to still be acting, but I do my best to be supportive nonetheless. Anyway, auditions take about a few rounds to determine what role each cast member will perform. My wife has been diligently rehearsing in her free time as she really wants to land the lead role, Kate. As I mentioned earlier, she's talented but not that talented. So you can imagine my surprise when she came home and told me she got cast as Kate. Not the understudy, but the lead role. I congratulated her profusely and we celebrated. I was truly very proud of her actions, although I had been wondering how she managed to land Kate's role. I was expecting her to get cast in a smaller role. For the past few weeks, this play's been consuming my wife's free time. She's been going to her day job and rehearsing, nothing in between. I had found this to be quite annoying, but it was temporary, so I dealt with it. She had been telling me she was either at formal rehearsals or at a friend's house, also in the play, rehearsing in their free time. I believed her because 1, why wouldn't I, and 2, I know this friend as they're quite close. Fast forward to opening night, last night, and of course I attended. I didn't get the chance to see my wife right before the show, but I did say good luck break a leg as she was leaving our house, and sent her a good luck text as well. The show ended up being amazing, especially given the fact that an amateur club was putting it on. And Meg was absolutely fantastic as Kate. I was and am incredibly proud of her. All of her hard work paid off. I brought flowers and Meg's favorite candy to surprise her with after the performance. So, as the curtain was closing, I made my way backstage to congratulate her and her peers on the performance. I got backstage and I spotted my wife before she spotted me, and I did not like what I saw. Meg and the show's director were being quite flirty and affectionate. Half hugging, a lot of hand-holding, shaking. Rather intimate eye contact from my POV. The two hardly noticed anyone else around them. I turned around to leave, absolutely furious, and heard my wife thank the director for all of his extra coaching and help. This only pissed me off even further, as that meant Meg had been lying to me about where she's been spending so much of her free time. I can now only assume that she's been with the director, not her friend. I finally made it to the parking lot where I sat in my car for a while trying to calm down before I started driving. As I was sitting there, I noticed Meg and the director got in his car and started kissing. And this was not just a little kiss, this was a full-blown makeout session. My wife knew I was planning to go to the show. You'd think she would have expected to see me after it ended, but I guess she was too preoccupied. At that point, I also figured she didn't see me in the audience. Anyway, their little makeout sesh finally ends and they drive off somewhere, leaving her car behind. I was a bit tempted to follow them, but I decided against it. I let myself pretend they were just going to grab a drink or something after the show, but deep down I'm pretty sure they went to his place. It was a few hours before my wife got home, and I just sat in our living room, growing angrier and sadder, waiting to confront her. I started the conversation off by asking how the show went and whatnot. I told her I had been looking for her backstage but couldn't find her. This is where her demeanor changed and she started to get a bit nervous. She asked if I was able to see the whole thing and I said yes. It didn't seem like she was going to admit to anything up front, so I just told her everything I witnessed. Meg didn't even try to lie or make excuses. She seemed to have little to no remorse for her horrid actions. I told her to leave and she did, probably to go to her director's home. She didn't even apologize, barely said goodbye, just packed a bag and left. I don't know why or how to explain it, but that part hurt the most. Her actions spoke louder than words ever could. All they told me is that she doesn't care about me or respect me or my feelings. That solidified what I needed to do next, seek revenge and consult a divorce lawyer. Anyway, I used to have a female friend who I was quite close with, but we've since drifted apart. We never dated or hooked up or anything like that, but Meg was convinced there was something between us. She more or less gave me an ultimatum, her or Meg. And well, I chose Meg. I have to admit I have missed this friend's company as we have a bit in common, so I hit her up. We grabbed drinks and one thing led to another and ended up bringing her home. I made sure Meg knew about this as I wanted her to feel my pain. She found out and was obviously furious and hurt. She's suddenly apologetic, but I don't care. I've been enjoying reconnecting with my old friend and plan to see her again soon. I will 110% be going through with this divorce. I'm sorry this happened to your marriage, OP. Your soon-to-be ex-wife cheated on you, broke your trust, and disrespected you. You went to the theater for her, and yet she would rather go off with her director somewhere than check on you and see where you were. You're taking the right step in divorcing her. The fact that she was not remorseful one bit after you confronted her means she wasn't sorry for it. You don't need to be married to that kind of person. Take things slow with your friend and see where that leads you. Good luck. Story 2. Me, 31 male, and my wife, 29, let's call her Tara, have 15 years of history between us, and have been married for over 11 years. We fell in love instantly. She really is deep down a very good person. My cousin, let's call him Ned, 31, is the one who set us up when we were kids. We met through him. In fact, we all got married in the same year and were very close. I considered Ned to be like a brother to me, that is until last year. Ned and his SO, let's call her Cindy, started off great but have had a rocky relationship for a long time now. Everyone knows that. They put on a good show for everyone though, pretending they're happy. I found out that Ned has been hitting on my wife for the past year or so and tried kissing my wife at a big family gathering. She said that it did not mean anything to her after I caught her on the phone telling a mutual friend about it. You know Ned, he's always flirty when he drinks, is what she said. She said she was nowhere near interested and that he's not attractive and that she loves me. I believed her as I have all the trust in the world in her. She told me to just forget it. Well, another gathering comes up with some friends and I catch him trying to kiss her and hold her again. I was right in back of them at the time and they didn't know it. I got violent but calmed myself down. Anyway, after the party, he's completely drunk and is unable to drive home. He had his kid with him and his wife. His wife told me that we have to take them home, so I did, not wanting him to kill his family or someone else on the road. I told my wife Tara that this had to stop and I was going to confront him. She agreed, but instead told Ned's brother because she was afraid that I was going to beat him up. So he told his brother and he agreed that he's been drinking a lot lately and that he would stop. Flash forward to early December 2014. Awkwardness starts to settle in between us and all of our friends. These people I've been close with since I was a child suddenly have nothing to do with me. Tara suspects it too, but comes off as if she knows what's going on. None of her friends are talking to her. The only person talking to me is Ned's brother. Tara finally admits that there was a problem with Cindy over the phone. She confronted Ned about his feelings for my wife and he confessed. Cindy blames Tara and the two of them had it out. Cindy told everyone that my wife is to blame and that's why everyone's so distant from us and treating us differently. This all makes no sense to me as Tara's a fighter when she's not wrong. If this is the truth, then she should be fighting back. I ask her a million questions and she answers them. She slips up and tells me that Ned has been texting her and that's how Cindy found out. Cindy looked at Ned's phone and then started acting as Ned to Tara and trapping her with questions to make it look like Tara was the wrong one. My blood pressure skyrockets and I start to get really mad. My cousin, my brother, Ned, after all the warnings, was still trying to have an affair with my wife. I disappear. I vanished for 5 hours. I go to the gym, I go to the bookstore. I try to keep calm so I do not go and beat him up. The family's very close. If this gets out, then my family will never talk to him again. I drove home. I go to sleep with her reassuring me that Ned and Cindy are the wrong ones, that they're trapped with their texts. I trust her. She loves me. They're wrong. I keep repeating to myself. 2 days pass. It makes no sense in my mind. Tara also deleted the text messages because she didn't want to look at them. Why would she just lay down and take this shit? Why won't she not let me go and fight with him? Why is she always asking where I'm going and telling me to avoid Ned and Cindy? Then I read a text on her iPad from a mutual friend from before, asking her, "Does he know everything?" To which Tara replies, "No." My heart sinks. What can they be talking about? What more can there possibly be? I wait until I get back from work. I confronted her about the text. She denies any wrongdoing, sticking to her story. I'm furious. She tells me I'm crazy. I tell her that even though she deleted the text, that you can still recover them on the computer with software, and to just tell me the truth. She gets a scared look in her eye. I get my confession. She was the one who started it. She was the one who was texting him. She liked the attention. She waited for me to fall asleep at 2 a.m. so she could talk to him. When he started showing no interest, it drove her crazy, and she had to know why he stopped if he liked her so much. She admitted he's a hoe, those are her words and not mine, and likes men's attention. She wants other men to want her. Cindy found Ned texting her and took his phone and pretended to be him to Tara. Cindy and Tara had it out. This is why Tara is just taking all this crap, because she's the wrong one. She made me mad at these other people. She tells me that Ned has touched her. He grabbed the inside of her leg that night that I drove him drunk. She's too afraid to tell me that she liked it. I don't know what to do. She tells me she's sorry, and at the time she was going insane and was not herself at the time. She says she wasn't looking to have an affair, but just to see why he liked her. I feel like I will never know the truth. I think she has had affairs, or at least text virtual ones. I never thought she was capable of all this. I found this all out yesterday and I have no one to talk to. Please help me figure out what to do. My mind says to leave her, but my heart says to stick it out. OP, first of all, calm down. Do not take any violent action. That might compromise you anyway. When you're calm, decide what you want to do. If you want to end your marriage over this, you have the right to do so. You shouldn't feel guilty about it because of the kids. If you want to give your marriage another chance, then get some counseling ASAP. Path to forgiveness is long and difficult. Take the reconciliation part only if your wife shows great remorse. Whatever happens, stay NC with Ned and his wife. Now for some comments. You should buy a one-way ticket out of this marriage and do not look back. Furthermore, I'm sure you're a good guy. Your wife didn't cheat because you're inadequate. She cheated because she's a shitty person. Dating at your age will be relatively easy once you're able to move on from your marriage. Keep your head up and go to a divorce lawyer as soon as you can. This is a nightmare. I would start with a divorce lawyer. You have to assume this woman's no longer invested in this marriage. She might tell you otherwise, but unfortunately she's a liar, so there'll be no way to prove what she says is true. So you have to assume the worst. Protect your position in your children's lives and protect your ability to provide for them. Then worry about whether you can recover the marriage. Get her to sign a separation agreement that stipulates full joint custody with you as the custodial parent. Tell her that unless she signs it, you're filing for divorce. But that if she signs it, you can work back to a position of trust. Point out that if she signs it, it would put her at a disadvantage in a divorce proceeding, but that she's going to have to trust you to not use it against her. If she bails, explain that she now understands the position she's put you in for having to trust her again. No, you'll never trust her again. Even right now you don't trust her. You know she's still keeping information from you, and you may never know everything that happened. Your wife will only ever admit to what she thinks you'll believe. Sorry, but that sweet person you thought you knew was all a facade, hiding the lying, cheating, backstabbing, trickle-truthing S-slang that she is. Short of a polygraph, I wouldn't even begin to trust her again. Don't be quick to forgive. It's called rug sweeping. Because you don't have all the facts yet, so you can't truly forgive unless you know exactly what you're forgiving. Imagine forgiving her only to find out that 5 years from now she was screwing him for 2 years. It happens all the time. You should talk to your cousin's wife, like today. She knows things you don't know.